Come up with this number.
Letting people go and go to their jobs.
Against our common enemy, which is COVID-19.
The line here is the United States. We're
Seriously? The news. Some people love it, some people hate it, and some people don't believe it at all. Whichever side you're on, it's a great way to stay on top of what's going on. And in times like these, it's really important to stay on top of things. Now personally, I'm not a newsman. I've never watched the news regularly, and I didn't grow up watching TV. But right now, it's a necessity. Mainly, I've been keeping up with local news and paying attention to my county and state policies. The news is a valuable asset in learning what the latest quarantine and stay-at-home rules are. Like if and what times we're allowed out, what businesses are open, and for Florida, when beaches and amusement parks reopen. I don't stay up to date with world news as much as I probably should, but I do have a current event assignment in school that forces me to look in depth at least one news story every week. Nowadays, pretty much every news story has something to do with coronavirus. And one news event I've already touched on is people protesting against quarantine. Now, it's perfectly fine if people genuinely believe these stay-at-home policies are too harsh and wish to voice their opinion, but it seems like that's not the case here. I'm all for peaceful protest, but in Michigan, people are blocking up the roads and even openly carrying guns at protests. Is that really necessary? And the whole idea of protest is counteractive to social distancing. People who are gathering in large groups are only exposing themselves to a higher risk of contracting COVID-19. The idea of these angry, hate-fueled protests almost makes me want to oppose quarantine. Because if the country is reopened, there probably will be another round of coronavirus. And all the people who want to go out in public can go out in public and get infected. I'm not wishing death on anybody. But if it takes getting coronavirus for these people to understand the necessity of quarantine, then maybe it's worth it. And obviously, it's not a realistic solution because there are populations in the US who don't really have a choice and can't protect themselves on their own. It's just interesting to think about what would happen if people get their way. In conclusion, I'm all for peaceful protest, but I'm against hateful rallies that disguise themselves as protests. And with that, I'll see y'all next time. And remember, wash your hands, stay 6 feet away from people, and don't die. I really need a better system for this. Come on, is my tape really not that strong? There you go.